Welcome back to the channel, my YouTube family, my Division 2 family, and we're back with another gear build today, and this one is a wee bit of fun, a wee bit different. I've called this the open world gear build, and this is basically, I've gone away from those green gear sets, and I've come to a build that you will be able to farm in the open game, in the open world, and yeah, it's a lot of fun as you're seeing by the footage. Let's get into it and we'll give you the details. Let's do it! So the idea behind this build is just to demonstrate you don't need to have those specialized kind of gear sets to be effective in the game, have fun, run around, cause all kinds of mischief. You can actually go out with some active farming and get some really good gear pieces. So that's what we're going to do today, and I'll walk you through each of the pieces. I'll walk you through where to farm them from. Then yeah, see how you go with it. And if you've got any suggestions as ever how I can improve this build, I'm always open to those suggestions. In fact, the inspiration for this build today comes from one of our viewers, JD Glad, who made a comment on my aggressive gear build and made some suggestions how I could improve it, and that inspired me to kind of just tinker around with a number of gear pieces outside of those kind of Heartbreakers, Hunter's Fury, Striker builds. So thank you very much for that comment, and this has helped me come up with today's build. Thanks for the support on the last video. Before we get started, that just had an incredible viewership, and I realised that gear builds are incredibly popular. We're always looking for how we can tweak our gear setups in this game to be much more effective and get better gear and cause absolute mayhem. So thank you so much for the support on that video. If you are not subscribed and you like what you see around here with the Division 2 content or any other content on the channel, make sure you've hit that red button and the notification bell is switched on and you won't miss a thing. Anyway, enough waffling, let's get on to the build and we'll walk you through how to get all these pieces that I've put together. Okay, let's bring up our inventory, and here is the build I'm playing around with. Now, couple of caveats for this. You don't have to follow this gear build absolutely. It really depends on your play style. I'll show you what I think I would suggest you run, and then I'll show you what you might switch around depending on your play style, depending on the weapons you're using, etc, etc. Okay, so just so you understand that. So we're going to start with the backpack, and then we'll work down this way across to the mask, and then these two are where you can have a little bit of flexibility in the build. So we're going to start off with the Anarchist's cookbook, and this is basically talking about status effects, armor regen, total armor, if you want to go with 3 pieces of golem gear, which might be quite a good thing to have on this build, as you're going to see. On this piece I've actually got maxed out armor, which I've used the recalibration station for. I've got maxed out health and maxed out weapon handling, and that's what had the piece that I found. When I got this piece, I found it like that, and then there is an additional buff with 11% protection from elites on this backpack, and I'll show you where that is in a second. But this has a perfectly wicked on it. Applying a status effect increases the weapon damage by 18% for 27 seconds. So pretty nice, a little backpack to have. Connolly, I think you'll find some great toys in here. Try not to blow everyone up while you're looking through it. So Aaron Keener. So where to find this Anarchist's cookbook? Well, just go out and do some targeted loot in the open world. If you don't know how to do that, go and watch my gear guide, and it'll explain how to do that. Play things like Summit and Countdown, where you can be very specific on backpacks or very specific on golem gear, or check out the vendors. I often find this in the vendors. So if you haven't got this, pick it up. It is well worth it. Okay, so we'll go to the mask next. This is the Coyote mask. A little bit harder to get, but well worth it. And you can see we've got 15% weapon damage on this, 5% critical hit chance, 12% max stat critical hit damage, and maybe I need to use the recalibration station to either tweak that critical hit chance on this build. And then also I've got an additional buff of 13,000 armor on kill. The talent is a pack instinct. Easy for you to say, G4. You and all your allies gain a bonus based on the distance of your last enemy, and you can see the different distances there, and it works very nicely with the critical hit damage and critical hit chance. Now you could buff this even further if you set up your weapon gear with critical hit chance and damage on it. So where to find this particular mask? We'll just play the main campaign in the main mission in the Jefferson Trade Center and Federal Triangle. There is a chance of it dropping, of course. If you're farming that particular mission, the higher level you can go to, the better chance you have at getting this to drop on one of the named bosses in that mission. You can also get it to drop in the open world, Countdown, Summit, etc. If you have reached level 40, of course, some of your projects and your weekly cash drops, it might drop in there. And yeah, there's several ways of getting this. I'm sure I got this through the mission at Jefferson Trade Center. But yeah, go out and actively farm this. It's really worth it. It is a good gear piece to have. So, moving right along. These next two, it took me a while to get these gear pieces, but they are well worth it. Now, the first one is the contractor's gloves, and yeah, I managed to get a set of these doing the Manning National Zoo mission, only because when I done that mission, it was the reward was Petrov Defensive Group. So again, if you want to farm Petrov gear, you can get these, but there's a very low chance apparently of getting these. I was just running around doing control points and going from control points to supply convoys and all that kind of stuff, and these dropped for me. So a couple of ways you can do this. Never met a man I couldn't apply enough pressure on a small enough point and anything cracks. And the big thing about this is the damage to armor. It will always drop with a damage to armor. Of course, if it's a Petrov Defensive Group you get a buff with LMG damage. If you want to run a few pieces, and we'll talk about that in a minute, weapon handling and ammo capacity will also be other buffs you can get on this. But as you can see, I got a very good version of this. Maxed out weapon damaged, maxed out damage to armor, and then obviously I recalibrated the weapon handling so that everything is a top a notch. Definitely worth it, especially in the context of this build. Okay, so in the same time I was running around in all this farming and control points in the open world, actually also these knee pads dropped, and this is Fox's Prayer. And ever heard of an atheist in a foxhole? Me neither. And yeah, the beauty of this one is the damage to target of cover. It's maxed out. I've got maxed weapon damage, and weapon handling is not bad on this particular set. Again, if you want to try and farm this, targeted loot you should be looking for is obviously the Overlord ornaments, and all the same places as all the other points, control points. You can go gear specific, you can go knee pad specific. There's a whole lot of ways you can farm this. Just set your targeted loot, or have a look on the map for your targeted loot. The big problem with this is the amount of Overlord gear there is. and then the knee pad models there is. So the chances of getting Fox's Prayer is low. So you might have to do a fairly reasonably long farm to get this, but well worth it. And it's one of those pieces that a lot of people talk about, together with contractors' gloves, that are essential on a lot of builds. And so we come to the holster and the body armor, and this is where I think you need a level of flexibility. And I'm just going to pop up this chart that we've showed in the past and say, well, it's up to you, depending on your style, depending on how you want to run the rest of this build, to what you want to run and what you want to put in these 2 slots. For me, I've gone with Heartbreakers only because I want to get that assault rifle damage, and then I want to boost that LMG damage that we have got with the Petrov. But again, up to you what you want to run here. Totally flexible what you want to put in there. And that's why I put the chart up, so you can sort of maybe screenshot that and make a decision what you want to run there. That's what I'm running at the moment. As far as gear goes, again, it's going to depend on these 2 pieces here to what you want to run. Obviously, I'm running the St. Elmo's engine, which is part of the Year 5 Season 1 rewards track. You will find that at level 90, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, level 91, and yeah, it's, you don't have to purchase the season's pass, you just get that for playing the game and leveling up. So fantastic assault rifle. I absolutely love playing with that. I've also got the Emil's Guard. I love this SMG, absolutely love it. I've talked about it ad nauseum before, and one of the big reasons I love this particular model is for perfect preservation. Killing an enemy repairs 12% of your armor over 5 seconds. Headshots kills improve the repair by another 12%. So it's built in a little bit of survivability for me, and that's why I love it so much. But I just love the P90 anyway. As far as specialization goes, I don't really worry about that too much. You can run what you like, but we were talking about survivability, and there is a couple of things that I want to point out now. It depends how you want to run your skills, and if you want to run your skills in survivability, obviously you could tweak the body armor and the holster to give you a little bit of survivability in this build if you like. How I've run it, and I've only run it this way just to have a little bit of shits and giggles, a little bit of fun, is I'm using the TDI card custom weapon, and this weapon damage is increased by 3% for every 10% ammo missing from your magazine. The damage on this thing is just insane. Now what I've done is because I've got that weapon there, I've paired it up with the Bulwark ballistic shield, and this is just so much fun for running around, running and gunning. And the reason I'm using the Bulwark shield is just that active regeneration, the health, etc. Yeah, it regenerates over time. And I've also got some mods on this, which I'll show you in a minute. But this thing is crazy fun, and I hadn't played around with the shield before, so I thought I'd give it a run. As far as the mods go, I'm running a deflector damage of 4.4, active regeneration at 4.1, and damage bonus at 4%. I'm sure as we get better mods for this, we will get that up even further. And you can see it's running a tier 4 active regeneration at 80%, shield health plus 266%, and then the holster regeneration at 20%. Fantastic fun, and you would have seen by some of the footage on this. And I also just run the striker drone. Again, you could, if you don't want to use the shield, and the shield can be a wee bit annoying in the fact that it takes quite a long time to regenerate your armor and health, but you can just stand there and take damage on enemies. I've taken down named enemies, gold enemies, all kinds of stuff with this kind of shield and the card combination. It is a huge amount of fun. And that's really the only reason I've got it on. You could use a hive here. You could use your fixer drone, whatever it might be. And like I said, you could also just add your survivability in here. But try the build, guys. Try the build. See how you go. Give me some comments. If there's some tweaks I can do to this, I would love to. And do please keep in mind that I'm only just getting into my build journey, and so I'm trying a whole lot of things. I'm finding a lot of success, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it. And so I like to share these with you. I'm not purporting to be the best builder in the world as far as gear builds go, but geez, these work for me. And obviously as you go up through these builds and you get better and better gear, you can increase your difficulty level and get better and better gear, and it just keeps rolling on and rolling on. As far as my expertise, I'm not a high expertise level. I like expertise level 2. I'm not at a high SHD level. So this is just a build that you can get into. Some of these pieces you can get at a fairly reasonable level. You don't have to be level 40, and yeah, just see what happens with it. So if that was useful, let me know down in the comments. A like rating's always appreciated, and if you're not subscribed and you're liking the content on the channel, consider subscribing and put on the notification bell on. And we're going to leave you with something a little bit different today. We are going to leave you with me leaving the Jefferson Trade Center with this build, and it'll give you a feel for how the build runs. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. See ya.
Get past that shield! Target's low! I'm hit! Focus on the flank!
Immediate medical assistance needed.
Back you up.
One of them has a top shield. Moving in.
Tango over here. Got a shot there.
We'll have to check the logs to see if they accessed any sensitive data. But I think we're okay. Good work in there.